Fortnitemares 2022 is shaping up to be one of the greatest Halloween events to date. We had teasers for Stranger Things, Ghostface, Freddy Krueger, and a ton of returning items, but after 2 weeks of hype, it released without them. As we rushed into the item shop to see what was new, the first thing that greeted us was Summer and Mr. Beeseeks. Fans were happy to see an Evil Dead crossover was announced, but something still didn't feel right. Even though it's supposed to be a Halloween event, nothing was spooky about it. Instead, we were given a DJ at the reality tree who was mostly a decoration, along with a mythic item, which is literally just reskinned Wolverine claws. To make it worse, it was removed just a few days later because of a glitch. Now, at least we got the Inquisitor boss, who is actually kinda creepy, but he's surrounded by jump scare zombies and really isn't worth the hassle just for an SMG. So we were all waiting for the second Fortnitemares update to give it a chance. Some floating runways appeared around the map, along with leak challenges that mentioned the return of planes. We also couldn't wait for witch brooms and the return of scythes. But literally, minutes before the update went live, Epic deleted the quests and none of those items were released. Instead, crash pads were unvaulted and that was it. And that's just a start, because fans were also super let down by this season's latest weapon, the goo gun. It was teased in the trailer and we were all excited to see what it could do, but it turns out this thing is ridiculously overpowered. If you're caught by surprise, it's practically game over. There's nowhere to run. They also shred through builds and people can even cycle them to shoot non-stop, but I will admit, at least the item is fun to use. Unlike the most disappointing update of Chapter 3 that was supposed to save Fortnite, but instead almost killed it. In the lead up to No Sweat Summer, we found motorbikes and skateboards in the files, and this leak was confirmed by Epic themselves with a skate park appearing on the map. Everyone was hyped, and a concert stage added to the excitement. Summer seemed incredible, but all it took was a few minutes for the disappointment to set in. These POIs were added for no reason, leaving the stage empty and the vehicles never releasing. Now luckily, Epic redeemed themselves weeks later with the most anticipated mode, Late Game Arena. After a long wait, it returned with new loot and the OG pump shotgun, but there was a huge problem. It was unplayable. When everyone found themselves trapped on Spawn Island, the game punished them for no reason. While a huge pickaxe battle started, thousands of players were banned in the blink of an eye for quote-unquote teaming. Their bans were reverted, and luckily they didn't last as long as the most hated POI of Chapter 3. Everyone knows that collab POIs don't stick around, so when the Daily Bugle was revealed, we tried to enjoy it for the time it was in game. As the Spider-Man crossover was deleted, removing web shooters and battle pass skins, we all prepared to say goodbye to the Daily Bugle. Everyone theorized what would come next, from a volcano to the return of pressure plan, and then nothing happened. It stayed exactly the same, which made no sense, and even though a war broke out in Season 2 and caused a battle at the Bugle, it was left undamaged. With Season 3 on the horizon, we saw that Darth Vader was coming and theorized that this place would finally be turned into Fortress Vader. But instead we got the Daily Bloomgle. It kind of felt like a practical joke at this point, until finally the location was transformed to Lazy Lagoon. Months of build-up just for a Chapter 1 POI to replace it. A Fortress Vader would have been pretty cool, but it still wouldn't have saved this embarrassing crossover that let down thousands of Star Wars fans. Before the season began, everyone wondered what Vader's pickaxe would be. Lightsabers are the most wanted pickaxes in Fortnite history, and this was finally the chance to add them. Then, the harvesting tools revealed that it wasn't just a letdown, it was humiliating. They gave Darth Vader a stick that looked like a cereal spoon. I've seen all the Star Wars movies, and I really don't think he's ever used a metal detector. Now luckily, we got his actual mythic lightsaber weeks later, but it turned out to be extremely underpowered, and you could only get it from killing Vader. And while fighting Sith Lord sounds cool, it's nothing without some atmosphere, and Fortnite brought that with the weather update in Chapter 3. You can now watch out for tornadoes or lightning that could strike at any moment, until Epic deleted them weeks later in the hopes that nobody would notice. These features were gone for a whole season with no explanation, and the community were left scratching their heads as to why they vanished. When tornadoes reappeared later in the year, lightning was nowhere to be seen, and it was secretly revealed to be vaulted forever. It still has more of a chance of coming back than the thousands of people who were permanently banned just for playing a different game. In July, Fall Guys became an Epic Games exclusive and launched as free to play. This was great news. All you had to do was download the game, type in your birthday, and it was all yours. Well, when hundreds of thousands of kids loaded in, their Fortnite account was taken away from them, deleting everything from skins to V-Bucks. And that's because Fall Guys is rated E for everyone, while Fortnite is a teen game, so anyone who was below 13 was punished out of nowhere. But I think the funniest mistake that Epic made was getting their own characters wrong. In one of the comic books, there was a huge screw-up which resulted in the Devourer being shown as a T-Rex. It was drawn by a Marvel artist who was given the wrong references. But that's probably the least frustrating part of the storyline, as years of theories, build-up, and teases from Epic themselves were reversed in a single day. day. The paradigm was going to be the same person as Singularity, and this theory was even encouraged by Donald Mustard. Now this is where they saw the success of The Rock as foundation and wanted to get Brie Larson in the game, changing the entire story overnight to make it happen. It's not the only time that Fortnite has scammed the fan base. With Block 2.0, we got the most controversial vote in the game's history. You can spend bars on your favorite building to make it appear in Tilted Towers, and they were all designed by the community. But there was one big problem. Epic tried to force people to vote with challenges, and this was a good idea for about like 5 seconds. Immediately, fans noticed that it defaulted to option C, and all those who were grinding challenges picked this without even looking. They literally rigged the vote and disappointed a ton of people who spent weeks designing a building. Now, it's not just Tilted going through an evolution. Basically, every POI in Chapter 3 has been changed throughout the year, except for one location that's been ignored despite having way too many teases. When the Devourer skeleton was revealed, excitement skyrocketed as people speculated about what could happen next. After a short amount of time, this became a hot spot of activity, with Imagine Order trucks and construction equipment appearing around the skeleton. The Mecha Team leader was brought back for a live event as the Devourer remained here dead as usual. And after 10 months of agonizing wait, we have Chrome approaching the POI, and some think will finally be given justice. But at this point, I'm not holding my breath. Now the path is leading to the reality tree instead, and even this place has been a letdown in the past. It once had an update that was intended to last weeks, but was ruined in seconds. Behind the waterfall, you can find a pile of debris, and if you pickaxed it, a huge health bar would appear. For anyone who wanted to know what was underneath this mysterious rock, they would have to get through 5 trillion HP. Well, it sounded like a fun challenge, and players were dedicated to beating it, and that's when someone used a cow catcher on the rock and discovered an embarrassing secret. Yep, it destroyed instantly, taking fun out of the entire challenge and unlocking the room behind. Hopefully Epic does a little bit of testing on stuff like this in the future. It's not the only time that Fortnite has added something promising and exciting only for it to be a total letdown, and this is where the depressing story of Imposters comes in. It was one of the most fun modes the game has ever seen, and it changed the quality of LTMs forever. Even though it screwed over Among Us, everyone loved it and couldn't stop playing, leading to the release of Voice Chat. The mode hit its peak, and we found leaks promising even more content. The future of Imposters is bright. Then, out of nowhere, Fortnite changed its mind, vaulting the LTM to work on other projects. It has been deleted from the files and is pretty much guaranteed to never be coming back. Just like Chapter 3's most unique item that was supposed to change the way we play VR, but ended up being the most useless thing in the loot pool. Of course, I'm talking about tents, which had so much potential, but just couldn't keep up. At the start, they were the best thing ever, allowing us to keep all of our loot and transfer it to the next game. But over time, you notice more tents around the map being unclaimed, and it seemed like no one was using them anymore. People were let down when they spent forever getting a mythic or exotic and found it deleted from their tent after an update. Epic also blacklisted tons of items, causing a rapid decline that eventually saw this thing vaulted in Season 4. Now, considering we could be a month away from a new chapter, it's pretty crazy there's another secret bunker on the map that's still unopened. For years, we've had locations that were unexplained, from the Chapter 1 hatches to the redacted bunker. They had some pretty underwhelming conclusions, and with the Foundation statue sealed shut, players are hoping for a better outcome this time. And here I am, months later, still holding out hope for the return of Colombo. It was the most beloved addition that Fortnite has ever seen, with tweets saying Tilted will be destroyed if anything happened to him. Of course, Colombo was famously vaulted in Season 2, and Epic followed through on their promise, leaving Tilted in ruins. For anyone who wanted Colombo back, there was hope, with mounds around the island. After playing with everyone's emotions, they delivered a final blow, adding a skeleton on the map that left us speechless. Seemed like a prank, but Colombo has not returned since this, disappointing millions of players, including myself. After all of these critiques, I want to say that Epic is still doing a great job. I just wish some things weren't deleted after a few weeks and other things aren't teased if they're not going to come to the game. So let us hope the live event in December makes up for it. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's been Tommy. Keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.